Inna, Mummy ba ta da lafiya. Mummy ba ta da lafiya.
In January of 2020, in a village called Yannabaye, in Katsina State's Rimi local government area, a 3-year-old boy told his grandmother something was wrong with his mother. That sentence, from a child to a grandmother who refused to let it go, is the reason this story has a rescue instead of a headline about 2 more women nobody found in time. Hadiza Musa was 20.
Everything that happened.
Fatimah Salisu was 25. Both were married to a man named Samaila Musa, 30 years old, who police would later describe as a suspected cultist. According to their own later testimony, both women had reservations raised about him before marrying. A family member who investigated him and warned he wasn't a good man. Both marriages proceeded anyway. According to police statements and court testimony, Hadiza was confined to a locked room in the household and chained for 10 months. Fatimah joined the household later and was chained for 10 weeks before their eventual rescue. Police who found them documented visible marks and signs of brutalization on both women's bodies. They had been kept in conditions without basic sanitation. Their hair had been forcibly shaved. Police described this as being done for ritual purposes. 3 of Musa's children were also reportedly confined in the home. We're not going to detail every specific form of degradation the women described in their own words to reporters afterward. What matters for this story is the severity that's already clear. 10 months, 10 weeks. Malnutrition documented by medical staff after their rescue. That's enough to understand what these 2 women survived, without repeating every detail of it here. Fatimah had a 3-year-old son from a previous relationship. At some point during this period, Musa returned the boy to Fatimah's mother's village without Fatimah's knowledge. It was the boy who told his grandmother something was wrong. Fatimah's mother didn't raise it immediately. She visited again about 3 weeks later, this time telling Musa she needed to retrieve her daughter's sewing machine to sell it and pay for the boy's medical treatment. Musa refused, and according to the account given in court proceedings later, manhandled her when she pressed the issue. That's when she went to the Rimi Divisional Police Station and reported what she suspected. Police arrived at the household. Musa refused to open the door. A second team, led by the divisional police officer, forced entry and found both women chained in a locked room. Musa was arrested on January 23, 2020. Here's what happened next, according to available reporting. Both women were taken to hospital for medical evaluation. A Katsina-based organization called Gender and Social Inclusion became involved in their recovery, providing food, beginning the process of supporting their independence. With legal counsel, both women petitioned the Katsina Upper Sharia Court to dissolve their marriages, citing grounds under Islamic law. Every crime has a surface story that everyone talks about, and a dark truth underneath that nobody wants to say out loud. The scandal, the culture, the people who made it possible, the system that looked away. Every Saturday, we go beneath the surface. Dark Chronicles, Africa, the crime, the scandal, the truth. And then, in an interview with Punch newspaper, conducted in Hausa and translated for publication, both women spoke publicly, under their real names, about what they'd survived. Hadiza's words, as recorded in that interview: "I now know that appearance could be deceptive, and one needs to investigate whoever one wants to marry before consenting to the marriage." Fatimah's advice: women should also seek the assistance of outsiders to help in investigating any man they want to marry. This is where we need to be honest with you about something. We searched extensively for what happened to the criminal case against Smaila Musa, whether he was ever formally tried, whether there was a verdict, what sentence, if any, he received. We could not find a documented conclusion. That doesn't mean nothing happened. Cases in Nigeria's justice system often proceed without sustained media coverage, especially once the initial arrest story has run its course. But we won't pretend to know an outcome we can't verify, and we think that gap itself says something worth naming. How many arrests that make headlines simply disappear from public record afterward, with no way for the public, or for survivors, to know whether justice was actually completed? This channel has covered another story about a woman whose situation escalated in silence, with no one from outside breaking through to intervene before tragedy occurred. This case is different in exactly the way that matters. Someone did break through. A 3-year-old told the truth. A grandmother refused to be dismissed. That's not a system working as designed. It's closer to chance. One honest child and one persistent grandmother standing between 2 women and an unknown ending. That's worth sitting with too. How much of anyone's rescue in situations like this depends on someone outside choosing not to look away. Hadiza and Fatimah lived. They spoke. They gave other women direct, hard-earned advice about what to watch for. That's a complete story, even without a courtroom verdict to close it. So here's the question we're leaving you with. Comment rescue. If you think getting someone out of danger is the meaningful outcome, regardless of what happens to the case afterward, comment justice. If you think survivors are owed a completed legal process, a real answer about what happened to the person who hurt them, even years later, even after public attention has moved on. Either way, we'd like to know what you think happened to this case. If anyone has more recent information than what we found, we want to hear it.